Oh, I have Jesus Christ. Sheesh. Sorry I'm late. Let's see if other people come on because I didn't realize that you need to use your cell phone for this feature. Something like that. Let's wait a bit, and while we're waiting, let's look at this meme coin. Are we going up? Did we go up? Let's go. We pumping this or what? Let's go up, man. Let's go up. Hey yo, what's good, man? Guys, I had my bad. I started live about 7 times already. I got 3 screens here, so I'm doing all this, and the camera's right there. But my bad, being late. Sorry, client's messaging me. Yes, we are good for 3:15. Yes. Let's see how many people. Hey guys, this starts the questions, guys. I've been give you guys an update. I've been dealt a little bit of I don't want to say a crappy hand, more so like more like a speed bump. So if you guys remember, I've been always dealing with a cough and little, pneumonia and whatnot. And so I went to the doctor about, and guys, I don't want to hear, that's why I'm like very, reluctant to say this because I'm like, people are like, oh, it's the jab. And you're like, oh my God. Either way, so I got some tests done, x-ray back in October. I had pneumonia, caught pneumonia. I was given medication. Medication didn't do much at all, so they gave me some strong medication, which I don't know the reason why they don't give you strong medication to begin with. And that kind of, I thought, made things kind of slow down. So, but obviously with recovering from pneumonia, it takes like about 3 to 6 months to fully recover your lungs and whatnot from coughing and the virus, etc. And so I thought that's what was going on, and that's why I had this this lingering cough. Come to find out that, after long story short, come to find out that I have an autoimmune disorder called sarcoidosis, pulmonary sarcoidosis. It's something that comes by, it sits in your body dormant and can be brought on by like, a bacteria or viral infection. And when I got pneumonia, that's what happened because I've never been really sick in my life, really. I mean, like I've had, the flu before. I've been sick, but I never had like chest colds, whatever. And everybody, I think, got walking pneumonia this year. And I got it, and I probably could have prevented it in a sense because I felt the cough coming on, and I was really busy, and I decided I'm going to work my ass off instead of resting, and that turned it into pneumonia. Then pneumonia turned into this, and I have to deal with this now. So I don't really want to explain too much of it, but basically, a couple of things can happen. It can go into complete remission, or it stayed with me for my entire life. It's gonna stay with me anyway, but it'll stay with me forever, and then I'll have like up and downs with it. So I am believing God and doing my own thing to make sure that this thing goes in remission. I believe will happen. So yeah, so that's just the update. I've been a little slow on videos and not because that's the thing that's been prioritized is figuring out what's going on. So they caught it early. I'm positive, but there's a little bit of a hiccup when it comes to training. I'm a little more winded here and there. I got a cough that comes here and there, which is like absolutely annoying. And yeah, so it's good, man. Let me just go to the top real quick because my man's got what up, brother? Tune in now. Cool. From awesome. Actually, we'll just start cycling. Let's go. You're gonna do 140, RAD 140 and MK. Sorry, video on it. Thanks. Good. Yeah, just be careful with it. Get your blood work no matter what. If you do anything at all, like don't treat it like an STD test and you're like, I don't want to know what it is. I'm joking. I hope you don't do that. But as long as you're getting yourself tested, getting your blood work done regularly, quarterly if you have to. I did that when I was using, and it gave me more peace of mind. So you know what you're doing. You're running risks, and just make sure you're doing everything you can to minimize those risks. Any recommendations on tendon repair that recovers? So when it comes to like tendon repair, that's the thing is letting it repair. Obviously, like don't try and speed things up in terms of like training, whatever. Do the proper physio. The exercise the doc that will give you, or stuff that they're actually doing themselves. But also, yes, for sure, Omegas, vitamin D, E, making sure you're getting your macronutrients in, protein, carbs, and fats. Like, I'm not gonna say you should have higher one or the other, just a really good, well-rounded amount of all that'll help with recovery, right? When it comes to, obviously protein help with repairing and building muscle tissue. Obviously carbs went out for energy. Because your body needs energy to heal, and fat and whatnot helps with like joint lubrication, hormonal, all that good stuff. So make sure you're doing those things and resting and not trying to speed the process up, and you'll be fine. What's that? We got Roar, peace, love. What's up, man? Appreciate you. My brother's progress is going pretty good. We just did a video yesterday, and we're gonna post it tomorrow. He's actually off right now to Turkey for a little bit of a business vacation type thing. So he's going to do some videos while he's out there on his own that we're going to do together. They're going to make sure that he stays on track. We'll have a video tomorrow that'll kind of give his honest opinion on how things have been going. So I'm not going to spoil it, but he's moving in the right direction, which is good. And when it comes to this, guys, like, especially like my brother, the funny thing is with my brother is people really realize, I didn't realize, like our story is very, not complex in a sense, but mine's more complex than his was. I was the problem child. Either way, when I left my house when I was younger, I was like 18 and I was probably 17 actually. I came in and out, and then by the time I was like maybe 19, I was out of my city and gone. And I thought my brother, because like while I've been training since I was 11 years old, I thought my brother was actually training somewhat like not like me, but like I just thought he was going to the gym. You know what I mean? I thought he was actually working out, and he wasn't at all. Like at all. Like he's a legitimate newbie. Like he doesn't have any newbie gains. So he's actually going to go through newbie gains. So all the things that he's going through as a newbie are like all the things that everyone here has watched this video or has watched this. Everyone who's live right now has been a newbie at some point, obviously. So you remember all the things that you went through as a newbie, my brother's going through right now, and it's quite funny. Just because I'm just surprised. I'm like, what? Like, because he's athletic as hell. Like he's strong. He's like naturally strong, very athletic, and he's active. He's doing jujitsu and not, and he's like, he just never really thought that he needed to do, training and cardio because he could excel at what he was doing, right? So he's doing pretty good. So he's going through some things that he's got to figure out. He's going through some really cool aha moments, like most of us do when we're beginners, and realizing, oh shoot, this is what actually works. And that's my job as a coach, is to kind of have those aha moments revealed to you while going through the process, and then understanding, okay, through mistakes, we're finding out what works for you, doing that whole making fitness fit your life, not your life fit fitness. So thanks. I should maybe go in here, join myself live, and then, or just maybe just like switch up so I'm not looking like this. Sorry guys, this whole setup, dude. I was downstairs. I cleaned like 80 moment of heart rate, like with the Vyvanse. I was downstairs. I'm like, maybe I'll do the live downstairs in my basement with my, I'm gonna make my, basement where I do my, studio stuff. I'll make it almost like a basement type, chill place. You can have like guests and stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna go downstairs and clean the whole place and do it. And then I was like, I don't like the angle right now with the camera. And it's like, I got 10 minutes. So I went back upstairs. So yeah, I should do a video and just have like a GoPro on me all day long and see what it's like for 42-year-old. I'm 42 this year, man that has ADD running around trying to do things. How do you feel that Greg made up with Mike? Oh, I knew that question was coming. Oh my God. I said it'll be straightforward with you guys. I said it would be straightforward with you guys. And quite honestly, I was going to do a video. I'm like, you know what, man, I'm just going to just say it. So I'm going to give you guys full transparency. Me and Greg are completely cool. Absolutely. I've been to get together with him. We have some mutual friends and whatnot. And, the last time we were out, actually New Year's, I think it was after that too. We went to a buddy's, celebration, and we were chit-chatting like it was like it was old days. You know what I mean? So we're good. So, but I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that video, now there's a couple things that really got to me. If I don't know how do I want to lay this out? Okay, I'll tell you what I feel about the video as a whole. Give me a sec. side effects of having sarcoidosis is my voice gets raspier, which is annoying. Anyway, so a video as a whole, I think that it's good. I think that because there's a genuine beef there. More so, guys, I know like a lot more than, I know a lot more. And I'm not going to say all things in terms, because really, I'm just giving you my opinion, but it's not my place to say who said this, and that, and the other. I'm just going from what I've seen, what I've heard, etc. So as video as a whole, I think it's the good in me is like, good, man, like, squash beef, right? And it's more, and I would say on Mike's end and, Greg's end. And I'll tell you what I said to Greg, actually, either way. So that part's cool because, to be honest, when it comes to it, when you go outside of YouTube itself, Eric is friends with Mike and Greg, right? And I know that 100% because even Mike said it, like, if Eric's with Mike, right? Mike saying, hey, about Greg, right? And then, Mike was with Greg and Mike saying to Greg, hey, this guy doesn't like you, whatever, right? So there's a beef there, and Mike, and then, you have Eric in the middle. So it's good to see that happen and whatnot, right? Boom, there you go. Now, for me to be even more transparent, all things are done for views. All things are done for views. I have notes on this. I was going to do a video on this. All things are done for views, right? To me, right away, I'm like, that's cool. The intention is there. And I believe, Eric is a really good dude, straight up. Like, he's a good dude, period. But there is that part of this industry that is very view oriented, right? Like, so for instance, like anybody else in the world that this is going on with, they're not going to be like, hey, God, hold on a second, and call their buddy or go on FaceTime and be like, hey guys, hold on a second, we're about to squash the beef. And then, right? So there's a part of that doesn't make it as authentic, but it is authentic if you know what I'm saying. So that part for me, I'm like, it's done for views. This is all for views, 100%. It's his biggest viewed video. And if anyone's going to be the guy that's going to be like, hey guys, let's be buddies, it's going to be Eric, but it's for views, right? Because what I would have liked to see is this. I would have liked to have had those two have the same conversation. They had in private, but either way, I like to see that, Eric's there. Yo, guys, can we just, squash the beef? Like, this is, all the things that he said on the video, he says in private. And then Greg and, Eric being the mediator, Greg and Mike have the actual debate, the updated debate that is going to give us what we want in terms of like, and this is what I said to Greg. I said this, I'm like, you're kind of giving Mike a little bit of an out, right? And here's what I mean by that, right? I'm not a guy who's like, I don't want to see a bunch of beef. I'm not like, oh man, this sucks, man, no more beef. I'm not gonna lie. Those are some of Greg's, like, Greg's back in the days, he used to tell Greg's funny when he's not trying to be funny, and then he's trying to be funny, he's not funny at all. That's like, you know what I mean? So he would have some genuine moments where you used to be dying, like, oh my God, Greg. And the Mike videos were like Greg was genius. And then plus his editor, who is just diabolical, right? So those are actually entertaining. Now, the thing, what I'm saying is that you're kind of giving them an out is this. Here's the two parts of this entire situation that I looked at, right? Number one, I'm making sure you guys are getting bored of this shit right now, but either way, number one, you have Greg, who is saying things that Mike has said, right? Mike has made some crazy wild claims, right? He's the best coach. No one's better than him. No one's smarter than him. He bags water. All things that Greg has deliberately made a point to nail home all the time, right? And it's like, okay, cool, right? So Greg is actually, Greg's not lying. When Greg does reaction videos or whatever, Greg has a track record thus far that he might exaggerate things, and he's very colorful when he says it. Coming from Color Man, funny. But he doesn't lie. So he's taking things that Mike actually said, and he's saying those things that we all are thinking, and that Greg is saying, but then he's just going hard in the paint. On the flip side, Mike, admittedly so, is straight up slandering. Like, straight up. Like, he's saying things about, he's going, I basically said, like, dude, this guy went on a bash crusade. It's not like Mike is saying similar things like, hey, man, all Greg does is make drama videos. I don't like that. Greg's making videos that cause a lot of drama. Like, And Greg would be like, I do. But Mike's going around saying this guy's a POS, he's a sociopath, he's a this, he's a that. He's saying things that are not true, straight slander in a sense. He's selling fake supplements, he's this and that, blah, 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 that and the other, right? And then as well as Mike and that same person saying that, hey man, I don't really care about, I don't really care about haters, man. You want to hate better, or we want to talk your shit. But we just realized right there in that little short clip that it's like, no, like he actually does get upset about this. Like in that little video, if you guys are paying attention, he said he basically contradicted all the things he said in the other video he had with the other one of the dog pack, whatever. Right. So when I look at it, it's like, okay, I'm glad you guys have squashed the actual beef, but I like you to have that debate again, or a debate where you guys come together, round table shit, and then answer the questions that we're trying to wonder. I would like, Greg, do you really think that you had 20 pounds of water created because you accumulated because you did a dirty bulk? Do you really feel like you're the best coach and smartest coach while not being able to perform as, so all those things, I'll answer these in a sec, but either way, like it's, so for me, like, it's almost like we don't get the final kind of, hurrah from this, right? Because I don't know if they'll do it. And if they do another video, that'd be great. If they did a video and maybe it's already done, and I don't know, because they've been there, they've been, I think they've been the Ohio for the Arnold, so I'm sure they got a ton of content done. But I would have liked to have seen that. That's what I'd like to have seen. This to me is like all of those videos, Greg, for this handshake, and that's it. Like, there's some questions that we need answered here, right? So that for me is what I thought about this. And answer questions here. So let me just go up real quick. We got people asking real questions. Awesome, man. Do you have any such things for Cora? So yeah, I mean, like, look, Greg's an acquired taste. You know what I mean? Like, it's I like to, like, I can admit, like, I can say this right now. When I watch his videos, because I've known Greg for a while, right? So like, there's a part of this that I'm like, oh man, like, that's, you could tell Greg's polished, regardless if you don't think he's funny or not. The guy is probably one of the best in the industry. I'd be like, yo, I'm pumping out videos, and that's just reps. If you got 10 to 20 videos in the queue, that means you're just putting out content. That means you can wrap things off. You are very comfortable being in camera, speaking. You have your routine, and Greg is that way. Now, a part of the other video that I not didn't like, but I even said this to Greg. I'm like, Greg, where's our, public shake hands? And I'm like, and I was joking, I'm like, I don't need public shake hands, but I actually literally talked to him. I'm like, the point of Greg not doing or making amends was because when you look at it, Mike is basically like, it's it actually is affecting him mentally. So Greg seeing that and like, all right, you know what, man, shouldn't do that. And then Eric also being like, it's not good for the company. Now, rewind like 3 years ago, that's exactly what I said. Now for me, and I still don't have an answer. I'm telling you, I said to be completely transparent and honest, and I am. Greg and I were friends for years. We started our journeys together in terms of like YouTube. He started his way before mine, but like when his kind of started taking off, I was literally the one teaching him how to use his MacBook and iMovie, and then I eventually started editing for him. And then his brother took over when I got a job at the gym, and then his shit took off, which is really great. So we were planning, like, for myself and him, we're planning to do what we're doing years ago, right? We had our own company called the Movement Promotions. That was literally it, because we would say the movement was like bringing proper value and, real fitness, nutrition, supplementation advice. Like, that was the movement, because there's a lot of people out there saying some dumb shit, and that was our thing. So there's a point of Greg's journey being his friend. And if you guys, remember, if you guys look back, I got countless videos of me kind of coming behind it and sticking up for Greg. There's one like, is Greg racist? There's guys doing this and that, doing that. And for me as a friend, and, for Greg even coming up and doing his thing, it's like, for me, I was getting tired of like defending it. Not to say like, I'm tired of defending you and I'm not going to stop defending you, but more so, I'm tired of defending you, Greg, while you continue to do the videos that are making me have to defend you, right? and telling him the same thing, quite honestly, of what Eric is telling him. It's basically like, it doesn't look good for this. Now, hindsight, I'm glad Greg never listened to me, because what Greg did, he's where he is at right now. And I said I said the exact same words to him. I'm like, Greg, glad you listened to me anyway, regardless what you're doing, where you're at, that's where you're at, right? But now years later, it's like, wait a minute, I said the same thing and then did a video, and then that's how our friendship kind of whatever. And then to him, there's more of it to the story that I still really do not know. I literally said the same thing. I'm like, Greg, what I'm saying to you, I literally said to him, and I'm like, listen, I don't know like what that other thing is. And if it is, whatever that other thing is, I would like to know, right? Because in my head, I think that he got upset because I said that, basically said what Eric said, but in the video that he was aware of. And then I went to another supplement company that he thought that I left his company for. I went to Blue Star after Greg. Like I left for Blue Star, which I didn't. That's not true at all. My brand did not fit with Greg's brand at that time. That's basically how it was. So there's more to it from what I know, from what Greg has told me. There's more to that than you know. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. But I even said to him, like, I can promise you right now that whatever it was, that it was probably something that we could have talked about, number one. And two, when I look at like a friendship, it's like, I don't like, you got to do something real vile. Like you got to F my chick. You know what I mean? For me to, and even at that, I'd be like, I have a friend that did from a while ago, and he didn't really realize we were still together. This is like when I was in university and whatnot. And like, I remember being pissed at him and her, and then being like, bros before, whatever. You know what I mean? So like, even in my head, I'm like, you got to do something vile for me to cancel a 10-year relationship. So, I never got the answer. So this video is kind of like, I was like, so like, there's 3 parts. There's a part of like, yeah, I like the camaraderie and stuff. Those two together, Mike and Greg together, probably can make some bang ass videos. Could have been done behind the scenes first and see a video after that for sure. And then my part personally, it's like, I wouldn't mind one of those like, hey man, what actually happened kind of videos. Regardless of the consolation prizes were cool, and that's all that matters. And so there's my take on that video. There you go. Let's get to some actual stuff here. So appreciate you guys. I'm sure someone will find a way to spin this and be like, Johnny's hating. Either way. Let me see. We got how's your experience being with BPC? So good. I can tell you right now, I was more so of a TB500 guy, and number one, both those things will not work if you actually have damaged ligament and tendons. It's not going to work. If all things have been repaired and you're on the road to recovery, those things are great. But for me, TB500 was my go-to. It worked. I would get a ton of elbow pain, a lot. Both elbows from pressing when I was a lot bigger. And it, like, for me, I'm like, this thing better work. And then I did it. I was like, holy shit. In like a week, the pain was like gone, and not like masking it, but like gone and stronger and not coming back type thing. So do you have any suggestions for core workouts for someone that has no core strength? So I'm going to say the same thing to you. Do you have any advice for somebody who has no bicep strength? Any bicep workouts, someone who has no bicep strength? Do bicep exercises, do core exercises, that are easy for you to do to start, right? So I wouldn't start doing hanging knee raises or leg raises, because if you're just a beginner, you're gonna have DOMs, the worst type of DOMs, and that's gonna suck. So I would say like doing something very, easy as, lying on your back and doing like, pulling your knees in and extending them, or doing the leg raises. Start from there first, hand on the back, on your back or on your butt, have the elevation like that. You can do even tiny little crunches where you kind of sit on your back, have your feet, pulled in. Like I do like this type thing, laying back, and then take your hands on the ground and basically slide your hands and touch your ankles, and you do like a mini, crunch. You want to just basically flex your core or your spine, and then when you get used to that, then you can move on to like maybe cable crunches or cabinet chair stuff like that. There's a ton of exercises you can look on my channel. Just look up Johnny Shreve and like core or something like that, and they'll pop up. And there's stuff there, but it's gonna take some exploring to do, right? You're gonna find the one that that you like the most? There's only a couple that I do. There's a ton of core exercises, and I do like 2, right? I do cable crunches, and I like doing leg raises. And then I think they're called candlesticks. I don't know exactly how they're called, but either way. Hey, bud, how do you set up your carbs, protein, and fat percentages? So an easy one to do, very simple, would be like, depending on your goals and whatnot, but you can do 1-to-1 of your body weight of protein, 1-to-1 of your body weight in carbs, and then the rest of that is your fat. Super simple. So like I'm 205 pounds right now. Jesus. So 205 pounds. So I do 205 pounds of protein. Sorry, 205 grams of protein, 205 grams of carbs, and then if my let's just say, where's my caloric intake? Let's just say this. And then half of that would be half of my body weight in fats, which is the easiest way to do it. So 100 grams of fats, basically. So that looks like 205 times 2 times 4 equals, remember, 1640. 40 plus. So that's that would kind of get you, I'm pretty sure it'll give you almost like maintenance. They'll give you maintenance calories, but you can just mess around with that. That's what I do for, I used to do off the head. That's like almost a maintenance calorie. I'm pretty sure it's around maintenance. It is around that. But again, if your goal is to, let's say, you got to find out what your calories are first. So let's say your calories are, maintenance is 2,500 calories. And if you did 1-to-1 grams of protein per body weight, 1 grams of carbs per body weight, then you have the rest of that for fats. You can always just do like a 40-40-20. You can do a 35-35, so there's, as long as you're getting, if anything, 1 grams of protein per body weight, getting about 20 to 30% of your fats, of your calories from fats, and then fill the rest in with carbs. That's probably the easiest way to do it without having a bunch of information from you. How do you deal with injury and keep yourself consistent? I can tell you exactly. So if you just, if this is a question that missed my diagnostic reveal, I've been diagnosed with pulmonary sarcoidosis. It's basically an autoimmune disorder of the lungs. So I've been injured before, and I did a video the other day by myself. Literally, I haven't released it yet, but it's basically saying that, I don't have time to worry about or to dwell on that I'm injured or part of me might be broken. I need to focus on how I can recover. And that's what makes me, like, that is what makes me want to be more consistent. So for me right now, because of this lung issue, I immediately went and like, what can I do right now on my own until I see, the lung specialist and, all that stuff. And there's, I changed my diet. I changed, I made sure like my micronutrients are on point to help with reducing inflammation. And then I do breathing. I do breathing exercise in the morning. Every morning I do breathing exercise. It's about a 20-minute routine that literally does actually help with increasing lung capacity. So I know that if I focus on that and not that, woe is me, I'm injured, that is going to get me back to where I need to be faster than being, woe is me, I'm injured. So I'm not saying suck it the fuck up and move. I'm just saying, like, if you love what you're doing and you want to reach your goals should be enough for you to want to be consistent. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it. So I had an ACL tear in 2009, and I first played the football game, ran almost it was about a 55-yard going to 65-yard return, hit it out of bounds. First damn play of the game, tore my ACL. I was in denial. Saw the doctor the same week, did this to my knees, like, oh yeah, it's torn. I'm like, no, it's not. Until I see an MRI, it's not torn. I spent the time I had my MRI reveal or whatever diagnostic, and then working on making sure that I'm getting strong. The denial part of me and being fixated on, I'm going to find out how to make sure I am completely strong, whatever. That's what led me to be able to go to the doctor, get my MRI back. I'm like, yeah, your ACL's torn. And I'm like, and he's like, squat for me. And I squatted, and he's like, looked at me like, what the hell? He's like, squat again. I squatted again. He looks at me. He's like, what have you been doing? I'm like, with a cocky smile, I'm like, playing squash and squatting. Literally, like I was doing that, but I was doing everything I could to be able to do that. That fall, that spring football, I was playing without a knee brace. I couldn't afford a knee brace. Can't even get those things. Either way, I don't have time to worry about the injury more so than focusing on getting back from that injury, if that helps out. Whatever the goal is that you have, like, if this is going to take away from you're going to the gym every day, then your focus should be finding a way to make sure that you can do everything you can to make this recovery process even faster, the smartest way. And, that's what's going to kind of keep you obviously consistent. That's what keeps me consistent. So good day, everyone. What's up? What's up? Man, I really didn't find Greg's videos. Yeah. And I reckon Mike went overboard. Yeah. I just totally believe that. Like I said, Greg's videos, those were funny. They were, his editor was hilarious. Diabolical. We'll never, put it this way, guys, we'll never see a beef like that ever again. If you were, this is one of those things that, which is honestly, guys, like, I'm going to be honest how I felt about the fitness industry for a bit, but like, it's sad to say, it's very sad to say, but this will be a time in YouTube fitness history that people will be like, yo, man, do you remember the Greg and Mike beef? And you'll be like, yeah, man, the Blue Lobster and the blah, 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 yada, yada. And it's like, that's, that's a thing. That was a thing. You know what I mean? It's just, I have my own opinions right now of the fitness industry. I'll tell you guys, I love fitness. I love fitness, and I understand this. I understand where you guys are coming from. A majority, okay? Like, a majority of you guys are watching these videos because you genuinely just want to know how to make fitness fit your life. You're just trying to, I need to know how to do X exercise properly. It ain't feeling right. I got to find somebody to do it. And you get online, whether it's a training something or other, or it's a diet thing, whatever it is. You get online and you're like, all right, cool. I'm going to, how to do this. And then you click. And then by the time you get one exercise, you got like all this extra shit in your face that you're not even like you didn't ask for this. It's like, I didn't ask for fake natties and photoshopping and drama and stuff. I asked to find out how to do a daggone push-up. And then you're bombarded with these things. And it's like in the pursuit of you trying to find fitness for you, the mental illness of this industry gets shoved in your face. And that's how I feel. I feel like the fitness industry in itself, the industry, is one big mental illness. I believe that fitness in itself is absolutely life-saving. I train people in person, and online and in person, and more so the people in person that I see. Online is great, but in person, when I see the day-to-day, because I train some of my clients 6 days a week, 4 days a week, and some of them have some ailments that I'm seeing. When we say just do, I'll give you an example. I had a client who had a client who was not training at all. Like, I'm talking your typical not training, drinking, smoking, all those things. I think he stopped smoking, but regardless. And he had a issue with his leg, right? Some kind of vascular issue. And he came to me because I trained his son, this and that and the other. After 3 months of training, he couldn't walk for more than 5 minutes. And after literally the first month of just going through your simple, basic exercises, the guy went on vacation and was walking up and down the beach for hours. Unfortunately, he got whacked with a curveball from life, and he got a brain bleed, right? Puts him on hold. He's literally at the point he probably could die, and he survived. They figured out what was making the bleed, and then his recovery came to he went from not being able to walk to right now that I'm training him. I'm doing I had to work on some proprioception stuff with him, and then applying little things resistance training and cardio is resulting in him not coming off a bunch of medication. And we're not doing anything super fancy. I'm not a doctor. I don't got a degree on X, Y, and Z. I'm just doing basic. You need to move. Your body needs to move, and you need to clean up your diet. All those things. And his blood pressure is down. His diabetic medication is perfect. You know, we're doing boxing. We're doing rounds of boxing. He can't use his left arm right now. He can do all things. We can't, you know, he has a wing of the shoulder blade, no big deal. Regardless of that, he's doing one round and he's a good boxer. And we're boxing 5 rounds, 5 minutes. And I'm watching those things change his life. So when it comes to fitness, it is life-saving. Fitness will save your life. It will put you on this planet longer than anything. And that's why big, I'm going to say it, you know, the PHAR, however you spell that word, right? That's why they don't like us, because what you're doing and your pursuit to health is doing way more than a doctor can do. And let's be honest, the only time you see a doctor is when shit has hit the fan. And shit only hits the fan when you don't take care of your life in terms of fitness. So when it comes down to it, love fitness. Been this thing my entire life. What I don't like is the industry, right? And that's just unfortunate, right? So that's my opinion, guys. Just saying. 98 watching, 27 likes. I want everyone to show some support. Yeah, man, show some support. Click the likes if you guys want to. I'll never do that, but I appreciate you, man. Who said that, man? Who said that? My man, yeah, appreciate you, Rex. I know you, bud. I've been sticking to the basics for 2 months now, and the results are crazy. See, like that's the thing I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, you know, the proof is in the pudding. You just do the basic. You do not like. I try to say things. I don't want people to think I'm like anti-science, which I'm not, because science is, we need science. It gives us a really good understanding. Like training is based in science. Like, you know, it was obviously anecdotal first, and then science confirmed a lot of things we needed. When it comes down to what we need to do to stay healthy and live longer, we don't need all of the studies. And, you know, if that's a thing that you like to do and you want to research, and that's like a hobby thing, and that's your hobbies in that kind of way, go ahead. Awesome. But even when you do know all of the things, let's say you can just go right now, you can take what Doc Mike knows, Jeff Nippard, you can put in your brain right now, you can like blah, 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 right there. You have all the knowledge you accumulated. You're like, it's like, you know, it's like the infinity stones of you know, training, nutritional health, and all things. You got all of them. And you're like, damn, I got all the infinity stones I got all the knowledge in the world to be able to do all the things, training and nutrition and everything else. And then you're like, I don't really got to use much of these at all. I only got to use maybe one of them and a quarter of it, because it's the basics that you got to know that make the biggest difference. So, yeah. Anyway. Sherry's really quiet. Tyson used to watch him every day while having lunch. I'm in Brazil. Nice. Shout out Brazil. Yeah, all the way from Brazil, man. What's up, man? Savio, what is up? Savio. Good thing you guys are good now. Yeah, I like having peace more than anything else, to be honest. Right? I'm all for the peace, and I'm all for entertainment too. So, you know, maybe they can. It's almost like they should actually, like, you know, continue to have the beef, but in a funny way, almost like WWE, because that would be funny too. Because you still watch it, because everybody knows WWE is not real. Like, I know it's real because the hits, the injuries, all things are real. My uncle's a famous wrestler, so I know this. But we do know that it's orchestrated, right? It's planned in a sense. So I think it'd be dope if they had that little thing going. I'd watch that. It'd be, you know, get some, you know, some writers in there here and there and put out some plots and some shit. That'd be funny. I think it'll be hilarious. Ab wheel on the knees, good one. That's a great exercise. I like the ab wheel too. Let me see. Any experience with wrist pain after push-ups? Yes. If you do have wrist pain after push-ups, if anything, number one, you're probably not. Most people that have injuries, or not injuries, if it's feeling like nagging pain, it's because you're not doing mobility for things, and you probably don't think about doing mobility for your wrist, right? So if you're on your wrist and you're not flexible, but you're the only time that you're in this position is only when you're doing push-ups, you're gonna eventually, you know, it's gonna eventually start to hurt, right? So good things to do is, like, you know, go on the ground and literally, if I did this and just kind of like rotate it like that, you know, put your hands like this way, then this way, then this way, right? And then like stretch. You want to stretch your muscles here and here, and then after, even do a little massage on your own. Do your own, you know, tissue work, your own maintenance. That's going to keep you in the gym longer. So most time when I see issues like that, it's wrist mobility that comes into play. Hello, tons of pull-ups. Hello, I do tons of pull-ups, but I feel like my upper back is growing, but my lats isn't. So I think I know what that means. I'm gonna say that your traps, your rhomboids, and those things are getting bigger, but your lats aren't getting bigger. And main reason for that is, and I see this over the years I've been training people, it's because when you're doing a pull-up, if you're not doing pull-ups like this and tracking the arms to side beside your body, you're probably pulling up and doing this. And I literally had a client send me videos. He's gonna be competing, naturally competing at the end of the year, and I was watching him. He's got a great physique, great shape already, and he went to show me a picture of his back flex, and his back was, he's kind of doing this to flex his back. A lot of people, when they can't flex their back, their lats, they flex their traps instead. And I'm like, send me a video of you working out. Send me a video of them working out, because all my clients send me videos of them working out. Every client of mine, it's like, send me one video or all videos. I'll coach the videos up. Regardless, when I watched him, when he was doing pull downs, pull ups, even rows, he'd end up doing this. He pulled like this high. He'd do pull downs like this. So his shoulders would come back and pull like this. So he was getting up by his biceps and his and retracting his scapula. A lot of times that happens. So if that's the case, you guys got to do your best, do your best to make sure that your arms are tracking down, keep your chest up, and literally work on making sure your elbows are coming to your side, not your elbows tracking back. If your elbows are tracking back, right? Easy anatomy for you guys, or biomechanics, your lats are going to do shoulder adduction and shoulder extension, basically pulling this bone here to the side and this bone here down to the front, right? If your arms are tracking back, right, the further away your arm is from your side, your lats aren't doing anything, right? So if you're here doing rows, great, lats, right? Doing pull-downs, great, lats. Doing pull-ups, great, lats. If you're like this, oh, great, traps, rear delts, right? Traps, rear delts, right? Super simple. Live from I live in Ontario. Oops, isn't live. Shoot, I got some questions here. I gotta get on the ball. On gear, would you recommend a protein or carb-based diet? I've been on 60% carbs diets, eating 600 grams of carbs. So when it comes to, like, here's my thing: when people, you can't, like, I suggest staying on staying on a diet that works for you. You don't have to switch to a plant-based, because if you think that switching to plant-based is going to kind of offset doing steroids, it's not, right? There's like the chemicals you're using, and I'm just being blunt, honest with you. It's like they're a lot. Like, it's good to make sure you're healthy. You can still be healthy without being plant-based. Now, if you want to be plant-based, you go right ahead. But don't think being plant-based is going to somehow maybe reduce the risks of the things that steroids can possibly do in terms of side effects and whatnot. So just take that in mind. What you can do is, like, get your blood work checked, regularly. Make sure you're eating enough proteins and fats and carbs. Make sure you're drinking enough water and resting. Don't have too much, red meat or beef all the time. Like, don't have steaks every single day for every meal. Not that good. Mix it up. I'm not saying don't have it all the time, but maybe switch from fattier foods like salmon, fishes and whatnot. So yeah, that's my take on that, bud. Not trying to compete. Yet just want to abuse the cycle for serious growth. Yeah, man. Like, just do what you can. You can. I used to have coaches that give me, like, take Tudka, take my milk thistle. Look, dog, I'm being honest with you guys. That shit ain't gonna work. It's gonna work a bit, but, like, could you imagine if, like, milk thistle would actually help reduce anything when you're taking, like, grams of, like, test or trend? You know what I mean? Just be careful. Mike Islaris pretty much killed it for me. Once he started the whole being smarter. Yeah, I mean, again, like, for me, that's, there's reasons why I haven't collabed with him. And I'm pretty sure it's because I gave him advice on his diet and his posing and cardio. I won't get into that fully, but I said to be completely honest and transparent, because people ask me, "Oh, you're hating on this guy, blah blah blah." And I'm like, look, dude, I don't hate on people at all. Hating means like I want their life, dude. I got a pretty good life. I'm not gonna lie. You know, all things considered, I'm blessed. But if someone's gonna say something and get, you know, and make some baseless claims, I'm gonna call them out. Period. My mom has said some things, you know, that I'm just like, oh, God, I gotta call you out about that, right? I got like it's so no one's immune for me to call them out. I'll call my friends out, right? So if somebody says something very baseless or do something that I know isn't working, I'm gonna chime in. And if I'm on a friend level, then don't get mad when I tell you what you need to hear. I'm saying this, you know. Anyway, sure, is he really sure he's really quiet days already. Let's go back down. Hey, but I tore my hip socket. What? Labrum. Oh, yeah, I had a little bit of labrum issue too. And if so, what was your experience? Diagnostic recently refused to stop training. So if you actually if you tore your because like for me, I have a labrum area issue, but I don't I've no diagnostic of, you know, imaging that there's abrasions or tears or whatever. And I thought in my head that because I have this going on, I'm gonna have to get surgery. That's just my brain worrying like it normally does when it comes to injuries. That's why I'm so adamant about getting things figured out. My physio is like, you can literally, like, from the symptoms that I was having, we basically it's not fully fixed. It's still like a little bit like, you know, here and there kind of bugs me, but like I would say out of 10 on bugging me and being a consistent thing to worry about, it's a 1, right? But for you, if you've torn that is a thing that I would say get it done. Get it, you know, you always want to avoid surgery at all costs unless it's 100% necessary. If it's going to fix your quality of life, get surgery. If you can find ways around it, like for my knee, I'm not going to get it done, right? Sometimes strengthening the area around that is good enough. But again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to tell you, hey man, you keep working out, then, you know, in 10 years you got to get amputated. I'm not saying that'll happen. But point is that I always look at the things that are going on in my body right now and what potentially can get worse the older I get if it doesn't get looked at right now. So take all those things serious, but at the same time, do all you can to do the things that you can do on your own as well. So if it's, you know, if you can still train without pain, or, you know, you can still get through some things, I would say, you know, strengthening your glutes, strengthening your hip flexors, working in ranges that don't have pain. So like, for instance, if you can't do a lunge to full range of motion, don't worry about it. Just load it to the point where you can load, where you're not feeling any pain, and your body will still benefit from strengthening from those ranges of motion. So that's my advice for that. Halo, tons of pull-ups already. Oh yeah. Thanks for answers. How's your father? My father he's doing good considering. My father is in late stages of dementia, and he's 86. He turned 86 this year, right? The dementia right now is at a point where it's kind of funny. And I just, you know, you gotta find the beauty in life here and there, right? Because he'll go through some things. Like, it sucks. Like, honestly, like, you know, someone has dementia, it's not. I'm blessed that it's that, you know, and again, like, I'm also not home all the time. My brother lives at home, so he sees my dad weekly, and my mother and the grandkids and whatnot, and they call me FaceTime. They have me on speed on FaceTime there, because when my dad goes through some of the fits, they actually call me because I can kind of, you know, calm down. But it's a shit disease. It sucks. But when you look at it, 86 years old and he's alive, I would hope to live 8 decades, right? Going on 9. You know what I mean? And like I said, some things are funny because, like, you know, sometimes he's like, you know, the guy, where's I get my checks? Where are my checks at? And he's like, no checks, Dad. Like, you ain't no checks today. He's like, where are my checks? Like, just get him a piece of paper and give him it. He'll think it's a check. So certain things that happen are kind of funny. You know, and we try to make light out of it, right? We're blessed to still have him, and he's still here, so he could be dead, and that's just the honest truth. What can you say about peptides? Peptides for me, when it comes down, like peptides, T500, BBC 157, I've done CJC 1295 no DAC. I've done Ipamorelin. I've done MGF, IGF. Do I? Out of all the ones that I've used, the TB500 and the BBC 157 are the only ones that I noticed any kind of significant anything. But at the same time, I was also on hella gear too. So it's like at that point, it's like, I'll give you some advice. If you talk to some big ass dude and you're like, hey man, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I'm on peptides. And you're like, oh, what's it doing? And he's like, yeah, man, it helps me feel like this. It's like bullshit. You know why? Because out of the freaking list of roids that I used to do, I couldn't tell which one was doing what. I knew that I got a cough from Tren, that's for sure. I knew that I would have Deca D from Deca. And I knew that, you know, when it came to SARMs, that I would get just extremely watery and be really hungry. But I really couldn't tell you which individual one was doing which, right? So when it comes to peptides, I don't know. And when it comes to like IGF and MGF, if you're not paying a hell of money for it, it's probably fake, because IGF is expensive. And when you actually have real IGF, that shit actually works. So if you're getting it off your favorite peptide store and it's like $20 and you get a deal if you get 3 of them, it's like, yo, toss that shit out. Have you trained or gave advice to any? Yes, I have. Understand? I have my client right now. I have a good handful of clients that have diabetes. Depending on what it is, on what kind, you have to make sure that your sugar levels, your blood sugar is stable. So depending on, you know, type 1, 2, 3, whatever. But when it comes to training, again, making sure that you're fueling before and after is important. Training itself, to be honest, I watched my client train and his diabetes and his blood sugars level the fuck right out, right? Like, and I've worked with people who have, like, he's on Ozempic, and that does help regulate some things too. But again, it's the training that makes these things work even better. That's the ingredients when it comes down to it. So if anything, make sure you're eating the right amounts of carbs, you're like regulating your blood sugar, and then like being consistent in the gym and cardio. That is one of the biggest things I've seen make the biggest changes. I've seen people go on Ozempic and Mojavi or whatever, Mounjaro, and then they're still, you know, they lost some weight, but they're skinny fat and malnourished, right? So you want to be strong and well nourished, right? So if you have any specifics, let me know. If you have any crazy specifics, get on a 1-hour video call with me. I'll give everybody in this group half off. There you go. Half off 1-hour video calls with myself. Set it right now. I'll make a code and put in my notes. And half off 1 hour, seven. It's like, it was $135 for an hour, so half of that, whatever that is. I'll be lazy. Let's figure what it is right now. I want to be exact. 67.50 for an hour. There you go. Make email me if you're on Instagram. Instagram me. I will give you a code. Just get at me, and I'll give you that code. You'll only know because I said it. So if you're gonna say it, all good. And you can literally ask me anything you want for an hour, and we will answer all of the questions that you have and leave. You'll leave with answers. I promise you that. An anchor baby? What? An encore? Whoops, sorry. Encore baby. What was that? What is it? What do you mean? I'm like, what? What did I miss? I missed something. Somebody help me out with the comments down there. Where are we going here? I missed. We'll keep any questions. My mother is going through same. She's 65. Sorry. And I think it hits a little more when they're younger. Like, just to be honest, like, it's you never know, man. You just never know. You got to just be really, really grateful and thankful to God that you're healthy, and you got to live literally like every day at a time, because we don't know how long we're going to be here with a healthy brain. I see a lot of people who are extremely healthy, and all of a sudden they have some kind of deteriorating disease, and you're like, so, you know, live one day at a time, and do your best to be healthy and and try to, be preventative. Not at all, man. Don't be sorry at all. I'm not sorry. Again, for me, like I tell my dad's 86, my mom's 82 this year, and my mom's a reverend, and my dad's old school. So I've been raised tough love. So for me, it's like we don't. And very Christian too. So it's like for I think for a lot of Christians, it's there's almost this diehard faith that we accept things as is, and knowing that when you go to the other side, things are going to be great, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's a little peace of mind to think that way. It doesn't do any good to be like, oh man, it sucks, man. My dad's got dementia, man. Oh, it blows. Just like, or he's still alive, he's still here. Let's make some fun. Let's have some fun with it and enjoy it, right? Because eventually they will not be here. And I know slowly it's the kind of thing where it's like they're slowly becoming less and less here. That makes sense, but can stair climbers or step machines provide enough stimulation to muscle growth? No. Here's why. Your body's carried you forever, right? What makes cardio is that like here's the difference. Here's a good example. There's a difference between doing steps, like counting steps as your cardio, and actually doing cardio is because your heart rate increases and you start burning fat, right? When you're doing, if you just tracking your steps, your body's carrying you around. I made this point to somebody the other day, and it's like, if I'm doing if I do 10,000 of these, is my bicep going to grow? Probably not. Why? Because there's no tension that's there, or there's nothing there that's making my body have to recruit more muscle to build muscle. And it's the same thing for like cardio in a sense, for steps. If I'm just walking down the street or I'm getting my steps in my day and my heart rate doesn't go up, you're not going to lose fat. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to increase your overall NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, but it's not going to be a significant amount of calories burned. Now, when you take your same body and you put on an incline, well, then now your body's actually working. But it's only working to a place where your cardio is being challenged, not your actual muscle, right? Because again, your body doesn't necessarily weigh enough to make your body recruit more muscle. Your body's going to recruit more heart rate, if that makes any sense. It's going to make your heart rate go up, make you breathe faster to be able to go longer, right? So it won't build your muscle like that. That'd be cool, because if it did, I'll give you an easy answer. If it did, I would have way bigger legs. Maybe that's why my legs haven't, stopped. I don't know. Either way, I'm just saying. I have a stepper in my basement and Stairmaster, and that was my go-to cardio. And I've used to put 20 hours of cardio in. I'm not, no word of a lie, and my legs didn't get any bigger, right? And that's not like a confirmation bias. I'm just telling you, when it comes down to it, if it's not weighing anymore, you're not going to grow. You have to have like resistance to grow. I found you, been watching you appreciate it. Thank you. Awesome. Did you have a question? Because I think I missed your question. And you were like, you said rude. I'm like, what did I do? What was rude? If I said it was rude, but whatever. But let me know. Dead serious. So just a quick question. There you go. How many sets are recommended? These are good. So funny thing is, I'm gonna do a series. Here's my ADD brain. I was gonna do a series called "Keep It Simple," the "Keep It Simple" series, and I was gonna have like a kiss kind of like makeup and be like whatever, and then have like a topic, right? One of the topics is basically how many sets are recommended. Now that's where science does come in and help us out when it comes to recommended sets a week. Now there's a bunch of studies that the Brad Schoenfeld said something between like 10 to 20 sets. There's also like 6. There's also 5 to X amount of sets. There's an actual study that was done with Brad Schoenfeld's study was done with untrained athletes. So there's a reason that makes sense why there's such a gap between, if you're a trained athlete and put it this way, if you could do between 10 to 20 hard sets a week or sets a week, right? And you're a beginner or you're not a trained athlete, you're probably not pushing as hard as you can because you're not used to pushing that hard. So when it comes to the sets, you probably can do a lot of sets because you're not probably pushing as hard as a person like myself who He was trained most of his life. So that study itself was like 10 to 20 sets. There's another study done, I forget who it was with, but their study was done with trained athletes and it was looking like something around like 9 to like 15 sets. And that kind of made a little more sense to me. Now, when it comes down to it, I find like this finding the happy medium for what you need. Again, it's also like it's very anecdotal. So I can't be like, it's gonna be 10. I would say if you look at it, if I look at like how many muscle groups, how much, how many sets to do per muscle, right? Or how many exercise in a sense. So, each muscle does probably 1 to 3 things. Let's just take my chest, for instance, or Myra. I'm going to assume you probably focus on glutes, not being sexist, just saying probably do. So let's just say, for instance, you want to train glutes. What do your glutes do? They do hip extension and hip adduction or external rotation, etc. So there's only like a couple exercises that isolate your glutes, really. Like, and they do like kind of like only really one true thing, which is extending your hip. Your hip. So when you think about it, you can do squats, you can do RDLs and lunges, right? And all those exercises have carryover. Now, if I look at how many sets should I do in a day, well, I'm doing 3 exercises, and how many hard sets can I do? If I did 3 of each, 3 to 4 of each, that's around like 9 to 12 hard sets for that exercise for that muscle group. So if I did that, twice a week, right, you're looking at 18. So you see how much different that can be. So I think like that 9 to 15 is very, I would say, achievable. But again, it's also going to be how hard are you actually training? Are you bringing your sets to something around, failure? Like your body needs to go through a process of stimulating muscle growth through tension, and that tension being great enough for your body to want to adapt to get bigger than you feed it after. So I would say like, something as easy as, I would say like for me, I say like 9 to 15 sets at works. If that helps. It's going to be one of those things where it's like very anecdotal. I coach, I have about 50 athletes online and I have about 5 in person, and all of them are different, and they sit between literally about a 9 to 15 set a week type thing. So that helps out. Hey, Johnny, just got in after work at the gym. What's up? I train hard and I'm really strict with my reps, sets, and instructed by you. Appreciate it. I'm 66. Hell yeah. Love going to the gym. Come full. Appreciate it, man. Keep it up, man. I give it to my 60-year-olds because I train a few of them and they go hard. They go hard, man. So keep it up, man. I appreciate you. Full pumped, only step in real stairs, squats, etc. Okay. Thanks, man. See, what is your opinion on Mike Mentzer's ideal routine? My opinion is, I don't know, man. Like, I don't have one. I honestly don't necessarily have an opinion, more so than the guy was on gear. So a lot of his stuff that he was doing was based on what somebody can achieve. Like, that's one thing that I have to point out for a lot of people when it comes to watching certain training methodologies, right? And I can say the same about Mike Mentzer. I can say the same thing about like almost like Dr. Mike and some of the guys RP over there, right? His methodologies, I think they work individual for whoever, but you have to take into account that a guy training that not as frequent, but being on gear is achievable. Like you can, like the gear steroids bridge the gap. Like, for instance, what's his name? Alex Eubank is doing like a very low volume training style, right? And he's like, it works. It's great. Of course it's going to work. You're on steroids, right? Of course RP is going to work. They're on steroids. Of course, all of those things that people are saying to do is going to work when you're on steroids, right? So when you have to take that into consideration. I'm not saying that steroids do all those things, but when you look at the results you see from individuals who are on steroids, that they're doing a certain, training methodology, you got to understand that the results are exacerbated by steroids. So it's not like if you're completely natural and you do Mike Mentzer's training system, are you going to get a lot of gains? Maybe, maybe not. It depends what your genetics going to do. Steroids almost plays like that, that genetic, card in your pocket. It's like, I've got the genes to grow a lot of muscle. Boom. Here's my genetic card. And I do a couple of cycles and I'll put on something. I don't care how bad your genetics are. You will put on muscle, period. You just might not put on in a nice way, depending on your body's structure. Started with 18 sets per week, and now I'm on 32 sets per week. And how many sets are per week is too many? So for me, like, again, so I look at sets per week. So if you're doing, say, 18 sets per week, I look at 18 sets like this. Okay, 18 sets per week means you're doing, just say take chest, because you can see my upper body, right? And you do, on your first chest day, you do 9 sets, and your second chest day, you do 9 sets. That kind of makes sense. If you look at it, if I did 3 exercises, a press, and some kind of a accessory, whatever, and I did 3 sets of each, there's 9 sets right there. I do another chest day like that again, or similar to it, there's 18 sets, right? That makes sense to me, right? That makes a lot of sense. 32 sets is like 16. I'm like, whoa, like 16 sets in a day. Like, you can, now I look at 16 sets in a day for that muscle group or the entire workout, because you can do 16 sets in a day, because you can literally do, chest, triceps, right? And then you have 1 hard set, and then warm-up set or whatever, and 3 hard sets. 1 feeler set, 3 hard sets, 1 feeler set, 3 hard sets, 1 feeler set, 3 hard sets. And then you have 16 sets. But are those all hard sets? And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to consider is, are we talking like, are these sets like 1 to 2 reps from failure sets? Or are these like are we counting your warm-up, your feeler, your feeler sets, whatever you want to call it? Are we counting those too? So I would say, like, again, I look at 9. I look at 9 sets a day for a muscle group, right? And then, like, adding a little bit more here and there. I would say, like, that's not bad. I think 32 is like, what? That's crazy, right? That's a lot. That's a lot to me. If it's hard sets, if they're all like extremely hard sets. But again, all anecdotal. It's all individual. Science will give us a good understanding of what to look for. Someone said the best, actually. Who said this? Someone said basically science gives you an idea of how to apply it to you. So if it's like, let's just say right now, the whole weekly set thing, let's just say it's between, because it says 9, and one study says 9 to 15, and Schofield study says 10 to 20. Let's just round it up and say 10 to 20, right? 10 to 20. That's what the study says. Now, when you apply it to your life based on your availability in the gym, how much time you actually have to train in the gym, and what you can actually push in terms of like your actual intrinsic grit. Like, some people don't have it in them to push past or close to failure. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, for myself, I'm a dog. I'll go to the gym and I'll just, I like the way it feels when I have a crazy pump, and I'll go past. I love failure, but I don't go all the time because it's not necessary for me that much right now. Getting close to it is. Either way, so you look at that and it's like, okay, you might be able to do 10 sets. This person might be able to do 20 sets easily. It all depends on that person. So you take what the evidence has for you, you take what the research says, and then you apply it to your life, how it fits your life, right? We want to make fitness fit our life, not make our life fit fitness, right? All hard sets. Yeah, and then if they're all hard sets, I think, like, honestly, for me, like, and this is just for me. So it's my opinion and how I feel when I train. Like, and I'm talking, I have good data of training natural when I was young, and and training like a dog, and then I got training on bodybuilding gear cycles. I'm talking like IBB Pro open class, grams of gear and whatnot, and then training right now. The difference is, when I looked at it, I think on gear I could do 20 hard sets a week on gear. And that's because I was on gear, right? Being natural, not a goddamn chance. Like I just it's and for me it's also not necessary in a sense. So let's put it this way. If you did three actually hard, let's say you did one set to failure, right? To complete failure. I'm talking you can't get it. Like you're doing reps like this, the bar's slowing down, and now you're here, and someone peels the weight off your chest, and then you do your next sets close to that because you know how it feels. I don't think that doing another set is necessary if you're gonna do two more exercises that are gonna hit the same area, right? When you think about it. So it's like, how many sets do I need to really kick the crap out of my chest to elicit muscle growth? I don't think you need that many sets, to be honest, right? And if you are doing that many hard sets, I gotta think like, what are the quality of sets? Like, I'm not just saying your sets like garbage, but like there's also that law of diminishing returns. If you do one hard set, right, and you come off your chest is feeling swollen, so you're like, oh shoot, and you do the next hard set, and you're like, oh man, and you're like, oh, right, and you do another one after that, and then you got two other exercises to do. It's like, science says science says this, but again, like when it comes down to it, it's like there's also that fine line of eliciting muscle growth and then damaging muscle. And when you damage muscle, you aren't able to repair or build muscle. Your body will not repair the muscle and then grow it because it's going to spend all its time repairing it first, and that's it. So you have to train in a environment, in terms of your environment being that set range that allows you to elicit muscle growth, but not kicking a dead horse. I think sometimes we are kicking a dead horse. We got to know when to leave the gym, right? That's my, that's what I found with coaching clients, and that's coaching people from ages right now early 20s to early 70s, right? So, and some being natural, some being enhanced, and some being natural, and seeing what they can actually do, and training an array of different kind of clients as well too, from your Gen Pop to I'm trying to be a professional bodybuilder, or I'm a professional wrestler, whatever. There's what I've seen is, especially because I coach and I get all my clients to send me videos of them training and seeing the quality of their sets. Once I see them actually training and the quality of their sets are high, they're not doing as many sets as people think that they can do. No, I should do, man. Actually, I want to do this before. I want to be like coaching up my subs and have my subs send me in videos and then coach them up and be like, this is a hard set. Like I've coached so many people before and been like, that's not a hard set. Like the bars, I'll get on a call with them. Like when we do our check-ins, I'll share the screen and I'll be like, hey, like you could go hard and here's why. Here's what I look for as a coach. I'll do their first 3 reps. I'll like watch the speed, watch the tempo, watch range of motion. Then I'll fast forward to the last 3 sets. I'm like, watch the same thing. And they look at it and they're like, oh, that makes sense. I'm like, yes. Because if it's getting hard, this is a hard set, you should have form breakdown. The set should be, your concentric should be hard to get up. Your negative should be harder to control. And that's where that's how you can kind of determine a hard set. Now, if your hard sets are actually like that, again, like there's a lot of diminishing returns. From my experience, only a few years, 5 to 6 sets of any exercise is enough per muscle group. 5 to 6 exercises. So, and any more is junk. Yeah, and again, like I said, it's the person. Like that's why there's so many variables that make a massive difference in how many sets and reps that an individual can do. Right? There's a lot. Let me see. Currently doing 5 days a week with 2 rest days. That's good. That's awesome. Yep, me and my friend at the time seeing stars. Is there any difference between the certification of becoming a personal trainer? Is one better than the other? Honestly, they're not. Like Again, like, so I was like, I'll take that back. Sorry. In terms of like the course load or how much information you're getting, like something like ISSA, ACE, what's the other one? There's another really good one. ISSA, ACE, NASM, those are all good. If you got something like CSCS, is way more in depth, like very in depth. And I remember I was doing Doc Mike's one of his courses, but then they canned it, and it was really good in depth too. So, but when it comes down to it, some will have be more in depth than others in terms of like how deep you go into like neurology, like cells, etc. Like the science of training more so. The other ones are very, I won't say basic, but they give you what you need to be a successful trainer. But when it comes down to it, it's not necessarily the course that matters more so than what you do after you get the course. So I got a lot of people will get their course. Like I coach doctors and I coach exercise scientists. I legit people have hired me who have their PhDs, who are doing X, Y, and Z. And the thing that I find when it comes to those people is that they spend all their time learning in school. So if they have a degree and a master's and whatever, they're not in the field doing things. They're not applying things to people more so than doing more studies. So the trainer has more anecdotal experience, and a good trainer has good anecdotal experience, but is still very much still hungry for knowledge and learning more and learning more and learning more. The same can be said about someone who has a degree or master's that, they have the master's, great, but they have zero experience with training somebody in person, right? So it's always it's for that person that coach or trainer, whatever, to continue to learn more so they can, have more, I would say, tools to apply, because when you get more clients and you get more people, those are just different, those are individual, factors that are going to be different for everybody, and you have to know how to adjust and adapt for that person. MRV and maximum recovery volume is critical. It is, and those are pretty. Thank you. What's Derek? Man, Derek, what's up, man? Appreciate you, bud. Over chip was good. I never get sore. I've tried changing exercise, high reps, lower reps, heavier, and train to failure. The next day, I feel like it did nothing. Yeah, and there's Derek. So Derek, that's someone right there who you can. Perfect example, right? Whereas someone can do the exact same thing and have the worst case of DOMS. Like for me, guys, like I only train legs like once a week. I get DOMS every single time. Every single time I train legs, I get DOMS. Now the DOMS won't be as extreme as others, but I am sore. Like I'm like, ooh, my glutes. My glutes are nice and tight and juicy now, right? So it's very individual. MRV is very important, 100%. I definitely agree with that. If you never get sore, does it mean no? That's like I said, Derek asked that question. I'm pretty sure that's probably why you answered that. But yeah, that's it's not a what you can some things you can think about or pay attention to that you're having a successful session or whatnot. You get a pump, your muscles getting tired, you were strong and you got weak, right? And then when it comes to the next time you train, you can kind of do the same thing. Those are some things you can kind of give you an idea that you had a good workout. Do you believe there should be classes with lower weight caps in professional bodybuilding? They do, 212. It's the amateurs that have it mixed up, right? It's the amateurs, the entire weight thing, and something that Greg's touched on, and I've even agreed with Greg 100%. It's absolutely, to me, it doesn't make any sense. You are, they have weight classes in terms of, 212 and open, but when it comes to, amateurs, it should be kind of the same thing. And it should reflect, right? And then the weight classes should reflect the same when you get to the open, because when you get to open, when you get into the pros, everyone is at a lower weight cap, right? So your max weight cap is 10 pounds lower than the weight cap, if there is one in whatever category in pros. So for me, it's like it doesn't make any sense. And again, you also don't want to have too many weight classes, because then you have a long ass show. like a very, very long, like anyone who's been to bodybuilding shows, especially the amateur level and pros, and those things go on forever. It's like worse than like going to black church. It's serious. Yo, people, this ain't Dr. Mike, the brain destroyer. Stimulate, not annihilate. Yes, 100%. That is a. We says that bodybuilder. He's one of the best. Lee Haney said that. Lee Haney said that. Muscle growth is outside the gym with nutrition. 100%. Stimulate the muscle in the gym and then grow it when you leave. 100% agree on that. It's when you train without. It's when you train. Doing this. Sorry. Yeah, it's when you train without you cheat. That's when you want. Yeah, for sure. 100% agree on that. We're all different. Yes, we are. Everyone has a different recovery time. Neutral or natural enhanced makes no difference. Only the individual that recovery is needed. Genetics. Well, I agree and I disagree. I disagree. 100%. You take somebody. You take a twin person. Twins. Like if you let's say 9 twins. Let's just say you make clones that are identical, and one's natural and one is enhanced. The person that is enhanced will recover faster. 100%. That looks like a comment from somebody who's not taking steroids, and if you have, my bad for judging, but 100%. That's steroids. One of the biggest things that it does is helps you recover quicker, so you can build more. That's why people can stay in the gym when they're trained on steroids for so long. Their body's in a constant state of recovery, right? I had to go a little longer, guys. Gotta go actually train my client, but I'll try and zip through these. Being 45, how should I best focus recovery? Same as before. Like, make sure you're getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, eating enough nutrients in terms of like your macro and your micronutrients. And when it comes to training, like, still go hard in the gym, but don't do things where it's gonna have a negative effect on you. Like, for me now, leg training isn't how much weight I can lift; it's how strong I can continue to be. So my rep ranges aren't going to be heavier loads for higher reps, right? I'm not going to do my leg days, for instance. My rep range is between like 5 to 7 reps, right, or 5 max. And I'm trying to be strong and explosive, but I'm also not loading as much as well too. So, for instance, instead of doing a trap bar of 4 plates, which I definitely can still do, I'll do 2 plates. And I'll work on being explosive and in terms of like controlling my body and whatnot. But for me, it's all about, especially getting older, it's continuing to be strong. And strong doesn't mean you're going to gym trying to hit PRs. It just means you're in there lifting weights that are challenging, doing it, effectively and efficiently, and then getting out of the gym and doing all the things you need to do. Like stretching is one massive thing. I can say for anybody, young or old, but for most people who are my age and getting older, they probably haven't stretched as much, because trust me, I get the questions all the time from my clients and I have them doing everything. So when it comes to it, most people are not stretching, and that is what most of the time aids to injury, right? Not being able to go through a full range of motion and then loading it, and you're loading on dysfunction, and all of a sudden you get a tweak, and there you go. So mobility, stretching is part of recovery. And to be completely honest, especially being our age, and even younger, if I go back and do exactly what I'm doing now, I would do that when I was younger, 100%. So when I say this for us, I say because it's my age anyway. But meditating is massive. Just for me doing my breathing exercises daily this week. I had one day where I didn't do it, and I felt like terrible. Not terrible, like guilty, but I didn't feel good, right? And I noticed a lot of that helped out a lot. So when it comes down to it, meditation is massive. Just like, just if it's just breathing and focus on your breath and work on your lung capacity, those things help. I wish I knew that stuff before or paid attention to it. Stretching, mobility is massive as well too. Being strong is extremely important. having good balance, and good cardio. Those are the things you need to have. I might sound like a Peter Attila wannabe, but there's some things that he say that I am 100% like I agree with him 100%. But those things are important, especially do those things, and that will 100% help. Add to your quality of life. Oh, my man here, appreciate you. Thank you, man. Derek again. I'm in a high calorie deficit. I'm in a high caloric deficit and cutting. If you saw my training, you would think I'm doing too much, yet I never get sore. It just makes me think I'm not training hard enough. We did. Yes, we did. So the thing about that is, like, I would say, like, if we're looking, so a couple of things that could be like, if you're doing a lot and you're not pushing yourself, there is a possibility that that's why you're not you're not sore after. That is a very easy, I would say, theory. Now, and you're also in a deficit as well too. So all the things, you're in an environment where you probably should be, sore. So I would definitely look at your training output, right? Your training output, like again, you're not going to get sore if you're not no one gets sore from just blowing their nose, because your hand doesn't weigh 20 pounds. You're not doing it all the time, right? So when you look at it, look at your take videos of yourself. Literally take videos of yourself. When my clients send me videos, they're like, hey, I didn't think that these videos would help me as much, but when I see myself, now I see what I'm doing. And that's the main reason why I have them do it, is for me to be able to coach them up, but for them to be able to see what they're doing and be like, oh, that makes sense. That my bar speed wasn't going that fast at all. My first rep looks just as fast as my last rep. Maybe that's why I'm not sore, right? So I would definitely look at that for sure, and do some self-analysis, right? All right. Oh, this chat's awesome. Appreciate you guys. Derek, I'm a little jealous. I feel honestly, Doms sucks, but it's a love hate. It's a love hate. You feel alive. You're like, yeah, I did some work. My glutes hurt, right? Yeah. So like, don't think that. Again, if you're training hard and you're not getting DOMs, don't think that because you don't get DOMs, and there could be something completely different we don't know about that's underlying. So I don't even want to go there. Rest times in between sets make a difference. Massive difference. Massive difference. If you want to keep, that's why there's that kind of like, I have this like, easy number, 1 minute to 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes of rest. If you feel rested before the 2 minutes, start training. What it does, obviously, is it keeps tension high from set to set, and you're efficient. That's why I kind of wonder, like, how are people in the gym for 2 hours? If you did 20 sets, right? If you did 20 sets, hard sets, right, and you rested 2 minutes, and one set took a minute, which no set takes a minute. Sets take between 30 seconds for most people max, right? Just push to 45. We're going to just say a minute. 20 sets, 2 minute rest, 1 set each minute. That's 60 minutes. How are we in the gym for 2 hours of just doing resistance training? That's what I want to ask people, right? If you're in the gym for an hour, like for 2 hours, and it's just training, I don't care how hard you think you're training, you're resting way too long, right? That'd be like 5 minute rest and if you're doing, if you're training to build muscle, you don't want to rest for 5 minutes at all. You want to rest for like 2 minutes max. You know what I mean? Small explanation of lactic acid. So what's the easiest way to put it? So when you're working out, your muscles, you have glycogen and you have energy that's created, and you're doing a bicep curl, and then blood starts going to the area, and the blood gets so much that lactic acid starts to develop to kind of like protect yourself from going further, right? It is created by your heart rate elevating, and then you get lactic acid, and then it's basically a toxin, not a bad one, but it basically stops you from contracting muscle, right? That's why it's hard to contract. And then once you rest, that lactic acid kind of dissipates, and then it comes up again, right? If you're not feeling lactic acid at the end of your sets, then you definitely aren't training hard enough. I can say that for sure. And that was the most bastardized explanation of lactic acid. I'm pretty sure I can just go on ChatGPT and be like, explain lactic. Let me do this, actually. This is for fun. Here, guys, watch this. Can you explain lactic acid buildup from training? What?
Please wait a bit.
You're down? Oh, not reliable. Can you explain lactic acid buildup from training to a 6-year-old? I'm not saying you're 6. I'm just saying that.
Oh, sure. So when you exercise, your muscles need energy to keep moving. They use something called oxygen to help create that energy. But if you're working really hard, like running fast or lifting something heavy, your muscles can't get enough oxygen quickly. So they switch to a backup method that creates energy faster, and that makes something called lactic acid. It can cause a bit of a burning feeling in your muscles, like a signal telling you to take a little break. But don't worry, it's totally normal, and it goes away once you rest or slow down a bit.
There you go. So what she said.
You're welcome.
Whoa, chill out. Whoa. Yeah, man. So yeah, there you go. That's your lactic acid. Guys, honestly, like if I'm gonna be honest, go get ChatGPT. The free version, I think, would benefit a lot of people. The only thing with ChatGPT with all AIs is if you don't know how to prompt it properly, it's gonna give you weird answers. So for someone like myself, when I'm researching things and I ask it something, you have to ask it something specific. Otherwise, it's gonna give you some bogus answer, and you're like, what? Right? So, I might even do a video on that. It'll be fun. How to use ChatGPT to search for things for nutrition and training and not get some bogus ass answer. All right. Thank you, Johnny. Anytime, man. Derek, I've increased the volume and increased training failure. I'm seeing results physically. Yeah, I mean, if you're seeing results, stuff like it's like I would say, like, put it this way: if you're seeing a positive, don't worry about it. Like if you're seeing all positive things, you're getting stronger, all your body's changing, all that stuff, but you're just not sore. Just be like, "Yay, I'm lucky. You guys got to go through DOMs, I don't have." Like, just don't worry about it. Training variance is important for joints and ligament health. Also, you can slow the negative and save that, and for sure. Benefit heavier weights. It's not all about heavy and heaviest weight. Yeah, 100%. Totally agree. My arms are stubborn when it comes to growth. Remember, got any recommendations for bicep, tricep? Train them hard and train them often, and eat properly. That's all I could say, because when it's genetics, like if you got genetics that just you can't get arms, like they're not going to grow quick, then you just got to do your best to just continue to train them. And if you're like not eating enough food and not resting, and if you're not doing those things, like you're killing your gains. And that's not like one of those, taglines. Give me a second before my thing's gonna die. Give me a second. Sorry. You like hair? Whew. All right. One more question. There you go. Appreciate it, man. I refuse to be called the goat. I like more of like an ox. It's joking. That was lame. Dad joke. Ugh. Can I train you? Yes, I can. JohnSheFitness.com. Hit that link in the description below. And fill the application out. We'll get on a call. I don't want to do the outro, but legit I can. We can chat. JohnSheFitness.com if you're serious. Let's do it. No, Johnny, no matter what, you look fantastic and super smart. Appreciate it. My friend, you'll never be as old as me. Still training, but smarter for my age. Perfect. Strength goes so fast if you have break scary. Yeah. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yeah, train arms first. Yeah, back. Sorry about the question about arms. Train them like those are I think arms, forearms, biceps, triceps, calves. Those are the muscle groups you can train like 4 times a week, easily, and train them hard, and train them often, and make sure you're eating, sleeping, hydrating. Those are things that are going to help you build muscle. If you slack on those things, and you are not genetically gifted to build buys or tries fast, it's going to be even harder. So, all right, guys, I actually do have to get on the road to train my clients. This was great. I'm going to do these again. I'm glad you guys came in. Appreciate you. These are fun. I like coaching. We'll do these often, but let me know what you guys want me to touch on. Again, I am going to make that half off on my site. Do me a favor. I'm going to leave my email in the chat. Go to Johnny, email Johnny at johnnyshreeveinc.com. Sorry, Johnny at johnnyshreeve.com. And I don't care who you are, just say, hey, Johnny, you said half off our consults. And I'll be like, yes, I did. Because that means you watched the video. And if you told a friend about it, even better, right? So our consults, half off. When you give me a call or an email, I will send you a discount code to book it and we'll get on a call. Other than that, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll be chatting next time. Look for some more videos. And you guys know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace. Like outro music.